Hi, welcome to my craft room. I've been working away on Christmas cards and I thought I might share this card with you. This is the window frames framelit dies in our holiday catalog. And if you count the smallest as number 1 and work your way up, this would be number 4, and I'm using the Raspberry Ripple cardstock for that. And 1 being the smallest, this would be number 3 in that sequence. This is our chevron embossing folder, and it's just a little bit longer. So I took my craft and rubber scissors and I just trimmed off up to where the pattern begins, and it's just a tiny little lip that you're cutting away. I'm going to show you here on the polka dot. See, it's not much, but I did cut the 2 edges separately and it cut just like butter. Very, very easy. Now I'm going to share a tip with you that's really important. See where I've already got my crease in my gumball green cardstock? You want to make sure that that's lined up with your top edge. Also, pay attention to your sides of your cardstock and try to match that up. But right where that fold is in that cardstock, it needs to be visible with that edge. If you get it down in that, it'll be challenging to fold your card over. This embossing folder gives you a really nice deep embossing, so you do not need any tabs. This is the wood grain embossing folder, and once again it's a deep embossing, so no tabs for this. Sandwich this and run it through. I really love the combination of these in colors. I've used 2 of the in colors for this, the Raspberry Ripple and the Gumball Green. And I'm going to do tone on tone, so I'm taking my Raspberry Ripple ink pad and I'm going to just press that circular part of this into that ink, and that's going to give a depth of color. Now set that aside and let that dry thoroughly before you continue to work with that. I don't know if you've ever worked with the Naturals white cardstock. It's found on page 160 in our large catalog. But look at the difference in that and our Whisper white. I really love it. It's a different hue of white to work with, and it has a speckled effect, which is always fun and gives a different effect. I was told that working with the paper piercing mat and stamping on that it gives a ease in stamping, so I thought I would try that. Scentsational Seasons from our holiday catalog, and we're using the cute little whimsical tree. And when you stamp that, make sure you leave enough space at the base to stamp your verse. And I'm going to be using the Raspberry Ripple ink, and I've chose the Merry Christmas out of the Petite Pears. I took my 2-way glue pen and I pumped that so that nib is really full of glue, and then just touch it to each one of those dots, and that's going to add sparkle to your tree. And then I'm putting it into the Dazzling Diamond, and I highly recommend that you put your glitter into some type of a tray or container. You're going to find, number 1, a greater ease in working with it, but also you will not have the waste. I wanted to add sparkle to the edge of this to accent this framelit, so I'm using the width of my nib and I'm going around it. But one thing, if you find you begin to have it a little bit wider, it's real easy to correct that by just going back and adding a little more glue to that, and that way it'll all be the same width. Once you get that all done, then just take it to the glitter and cover that thoroughly. Remember that glue is only going to take so much glitter. It's just that I'm very generous. I want to make sure that I get as much glitter on there as I possibly can. And then just tap off the excess. Set that aside and let that dry thoroughly. I recommend the multi-purpose glue, and I'm using the broad tip of this. And anytime you're working with deep embossing like this, you want something that's really going to adhere. And the snail or the 2-way glue pen is just not going to hold on this. And here you have double embossing, so definitely use something that's going to adhere well. I'm putting my circle part at the top and bottom, and to add a little bit of sparkle to the top of our tree. Our crowning touch is the largest in our rhinestones. Doesn't that look pretty? It looks better if you do not let it touch the tree. Bring it up just ever so slightly. Well, the nice thing about cardstock is there are two sides, and you can see that I goofed up, and so I just flipped it over and used the other side. So I got a second chance. I wasn't happy with how close my Merry Christmas was to my tree. So there we go. And we have finished one more card, and I hope you've been inspired by this. Go to my blog, and there I'll have all the information. And until next time, thank you so very much.